Okay, let's be real. Have you ever spent an hour cooking a beautiful meal only to have your toddler just push it away? Or maybe you're convinced your child survives on nothing but crackers and air? If any of that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to decode one of the most stressful parts of parenting, picky eating. I mean, does it ever? That nightly standoff, the pleading, the frustration, it can feel like you're gearing up for a fight every single evening. If you're nodding along right now, I just really want you to know you are not alone in this. Not by a long shot. In fact, check this out. Research shows that up to 50% of all toddlers are described by their parents as picky eaters. That is a huge number. Think about it. That means half the parents you know are probably dealing with the exact same thing. This isn't some failing on your part. It's an incredibly common and usually temporary phase of development. So let's dig into the why behind all the no's. Because honestly, understanding what's going on in their little heads is the first step to getting some peace back at the dinner table. It's not just them being stubborn, you know? There are actually 3 really big scientific reasons this happens. And once you see them, it all starts to make a whole lot more sense. All right, first up is something called food neophobia. It sounds complicated, but it just means fear of new foods. And get this, it's a hardwired, evolutionary survival instinct. Think way back, when toddlers first started walking. This instinct is what kept them from, say, eating a poisonous berry they found. So when your kid looks at a piece of broccoli like it's a threat, they're basically running ancient survival software. And this instinct, it peaks right between the ages of 2 and 6. Okay, reason number 2 is all about autonomy. A toddler's whole world is about trying to gain control, right? I do it myself. They have so little say over their lives, when they sleep, where they go, what they wear. But the one thing you absolutely cannot make them do is swallow. Their mouth is one of the very few things they have total command over. And refusing food is a really powerful way for them to say, hey, I'm in charge of my own body. And the third piece of this puzzle is sensory sensitivity. This is fascinating. Children literally have more taste buds than adults do, and they are way more reactive. So those bitter flavors you find in a lot of vegetables, like Brussels sprouts or kale, they taste significantly stronger and way more intense to a kid. And it's not just about taste. Weird textures, strong smells, even how the food looks on the plate can be genuinely overwhelming for their little systems. So let's just put that all together for a second. You've got a child who is hardwired to be scared of new things, who is desperately trying to feel some control, and who is experiencing flavors with an intensity we can't even imagine. It's kind of the perfect storm for picky eating, isn't it? When you look at it that way, it's not about defiance, it's just development. Now, because we get so desperate to get our kids to eat something, we try everything. But here's the tough part. A lot of the common tricks we use, with the absolute best intentions, have been shown by study after study to actually make picky eating worse in the long run. So let's talk about the biggest mealtime traps. The just one bite rule? Yep, that's pressure. And it just turns dinner into a power struggle. Bribing with a cookie for dessert? Well, that just teaches them that vegetables are the awful chore you have to suffer through to get to the good stuff. And what about being a short order cook, making them a separate meal of nuggets every night? That just teaches them that if they hold out long enough, you'll eventually give them what they want. And being super strict about forbidden foods, all that does is make those things seem even more exciting and desirable. And this really gets to the heart of it all. The research is so clear on this. Pressuring a child to eat is probably the single fastest way to get them to refuse food more. It creates these negative feelings around that food and just turns the dinner table into a total battlefield. And let me tell you, that is a battle you are not going to win. So, you're probably thinking, okay, if all that stuff doesn't work, what on earth am I supposed to do? Well, let's talk about the solution. And there is one. It's an evidence-based approach that's been proven to work for decades. It's called the division of responsibility, and it is beautifully simple. So here's how it breaks down. It's all about jobs. You have your job, and your child has theirs. Your job as the parent is to control the structure. You decide what food is on the menu. You decide when dinner is served, and you decide where you eat. That's it. Your job ends there. Your child's job is to have total control within that structure. They decide whether to eat what you served and how much they want to eat. This is the mantra to just repeat in your head over and over. Your job is to provide. Their job is to decide. You provide a healthy, balanced meal. They decide if they're going to eat the chicken, the broccoli, the rice, or maybe none of it. Trusting them with their job is terrifying at first, I know, but it completely takes the power struggle off the table and lets them start to listen to their own bodies. Okay, so trying this new approach requires a pretty big shift in how we think. The goal is no longer about getting your kid to eat that broccoli tonight. The new goal is to raise a competent, confident eater for life. And the secret ingredient for that is a whole lot of patience. And please, please burn this number into your brain. Research shows pretty consistently that a child might need to see a new food on their plate 8 to 20 times before they even consider trying it. Not once, not 3 times. We're talking weeks, maybe even months of just seeing that food over and over again with absolutely zero pressure. And remember, an exposure doesn't just mean eating it. Every single one of these things counts as a win. Just seeing carrots on the table night after night helps reduce that fear. Allowing a single carrot to sit on their plate, even if they just poke it with a fork, is a huge step. Every little interaction builds familiarity and makes that food less scary over time. And here's one more thing that might help you let go of some of that parental guilt. It's not your fault, really. Big studies on twins have found that food fussiness is highly heritable. That means there's a huge genetic component to this. Some kids are just wired to be more cautious about food. You can influence it for sure, but you didn't create it. Now, for the vast, vast majority of kids, picky eating is a totally normal phase they grow out of. But it's also really important to know when it might be something more. We just need to be aware of the signs that separate typical pickiness from a more serious issue. This is not meant to scare you at all, it's just to empower you. If your child's list of safe foods is getting smaller and smaller, if they're losing weight or not growing well, if mealtimes are causing genuine, severe anxiety for them or you, just trust your gut. Talk to your pediatrician. They can screen for conditions like ARFID, where getting help early can make all the difference. So what's the big takeaway from all this? For most of you, what you're going through is completely normal. It's a developmental phase, not a parenting failure. By taking the pressure off and trusting in the division of responsibility, you can guide your child through it. It takes time. It takes a ton of patience. But it really does get better, I promise. Mealtimes can be peaceful again.